Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Calmie African Diary Show right here on the Black Wildfire Network, media for the 21st century. I trust everyone is doing okay. Today is just out in the field because we want to deal with one important matter, or rather factor, which has been affecting everyone, or rather it is still affecting everyone. And the issue is land. Trust me, on most of the times in many homesteads, that people are affected, of course, or rather the levels of poverty keep on increasing on a daily basis. And the reason as to that is that some factors actually do get to contribute to it. One major factor that you'll be talking about today, it is land. And perhaps let me just try and see if I can be able to share my screen. But let me just see if I can be able to share my screen and show you where I am at. I'm just at some old railway station. I'm just at some old railway station here in Kiambu County. But well, I think my camera. Oh, okay, my camera is quite having an issue. I can't be able to share my screen on this particular platform. But karibuni sana. This is the Calmie African Diary Show. We would have interacted on the Prism Live that we always do every Thursdays. But then again, sadly enough, I cannot be able. My Prism is having quite an issue. But bear with me. This is just my surrounding where I am, and I just want us to tackle the issue with land in Africa. It is becoming quite an issue. Many people are fighting because of land. Perhaps you've seen on the local, that is on the local media, whereby whenever people have an issue with land, for example, in a family, on most occasions, the family member, because they want maybe the court to rule on their side, they'll either hire a hitman, and they'll either, of course, hire a hitman, such that whomever they are facing these land disputes with, definitely gets to be given that nap. And I will get to proceed and take a look around. This is the Kiambu County in Georgia, and I am in a particular old railway station. Of course, it is still functional, and but right now I don't think we can be able to, of course, witness any, of course, a train moving by. But of course, we are going to take a look at the land, and let me just share this with you. Let me just, of course, show you my background, because my platform cannot give me the share screen. I would have gladly shared with you briefly, but this is still at the railway station. Remember, you can feel free to give in your views. You can feel free, of course, to give in your view regarding the topic of the day, that is the land becoming quite an issue. We've seen people dying because of land. We've seen people hating on each other because of land. We've seen families breaking up, or rather losing the family ties because of land. We've also seen maybe prominent people that are dead, and it now becomes a court issue for people, fighting over land over and over, and as a result, you've seen people even dying due to this. This is the Calm African Diary Show right here on a Black Wildfire Network. Feel free to give me your view as we get to take a tour around land. Right. And also, one thing I love to remind us, of course, this is more like a field work. I'm just taking a look. You can see at the background that there is a lot of arable land. And let me just get to the point. Let me just get to the point, because we are talking about land. But before I get to the point, remember, if you did get to miss some of the shows, you can simply get to log onto www.blackwildfirenetwork.com, and once you are logged in, you can proceed get to watch some of the videos, that is some of the episodes that you might have missed. You can also proceed and get to listen to the music. You can get, of course, to listen, that is to read some of the blogs. You can also get to support the stream. We highly appreciate that. So, of course, there's a lot of arable land just at the back, but you can see there is some construction ongoing. So let's talk about this issue about land. Land has been a major factor in contributing to post standard levels of people in the society. Because they say that wealthier you are considered to be. And for example, we do have the Kenyatta family. We do have the Kenyatta family in Kenya. They are considered to be among some of the wealthiest family we do have, and this is to the vast land that they actually do have. And of course, some families have been affected by that. Some families have been affected by the issue of land. Some families have been affected by the issue of land, and of course, the issue of land has also been having a lot of corruption issues. Perhaps you can see, sadly enough, I cannot be able to tilt my camera. This is the railway that I was talking about. This is the railway that I was talking about. And some people, due to land becoming an issue, they have, of course, settled here. Of course, the construction of this railway, it is believed to be back then during the colonial times. I believe you can see. It is believed, I mean, its existence has been there during the colonial times. That is one thing that's been. Most people have been able to like find a way of survival, find a way of cultivating and putting food on the table by just land and cross. Let me use the word land and cross and of course it is not safe, for you to like cultivate around here because you do have the train, carrying the cargo. Anything might happen to your, to your crops. But then again, due to land becoming an issue, people would rather, cultivate here than actually sleep hungry. So of course, let's proceed and take a look at some of these, of course, on some of the cultivation that have been done around the river. But of course, people have harvested right now. I believe you can see that people have harvested right now. So of course, we call it the weeds, In terms of land division, it has become quite an issue in Africa. And we all get to agree that land and poverty, they go hand in hand. The more lands you have, the more money you have, or rather the more influence you have on other people. Because if you do not have land, if you do not have, the issue with capital, then I don't see how you can stand actually in a broad daylight. Of course, I mean, I don't see the way you can actually get to stand and get, to put a voice out there, rather remind people of who you are. They get to respect you once you actually do have something on your own. This is the land that I'm talking about. You can see there is some chicken there. You get what you gotta get to survive. Of course, this is not the ghetto, but you just have to survive. There is still, I believe you can see. I just move a little bit. Of course, you can see there is a small piece of land, and someone is trying, of course, to cultivate, some vegetables. This is some pumpkin leaves. I believe you can see some pumpkin leaves over there. We say survival for the fittest because if you do not survive on this, then it'll mean that you and your family might basically sleep hungry. Land is a major issue. Land is a major factor in Africa. Let's proceed and take a look at some of the pieces of land, what some people have done on these pieces of land. Because some people have built homes, some have, built houses. I'm talking about rental houses. Some people have built rental houses on these pieces of land, but you just don't wake up and build some houses or some rental houses. You need to have that capital. There's a lot of land that is left, because there is left. We're talking about arable land. There is left. Most of the time, you get to realize that it is the government project, or most of the time, you get to realize that this was land that perhaps was grabbed, and nothing actually that is profitable, or rather, nothing that can get to contribute to the economy is actually done on this particular piece of land. Let me just move a little bit and show you more. You can see here there was some construction that did take place on this particular place. There's some construction that did get to take place. I don't know if you can see. Yes, you can see. This was a house that was demolished, and then again, I just want to remind us one thing, that the more money you have, or the more influence you have, the more you are able to do anything in Africa. Not only in Africa, but also the diaspora at large. You can see this is one big piece of land. But then again, because maybe this is the land that is belonging to a politician, well, there's nothing you can do. You cannot even dare plant even maize. But I've just showed you the other side of the road, whereby people actually get to like encroach and get to farm as little as they can, not put food on the table. This is still land. This is still land. But of course, it has a lot of napier grasses around. Not napier grasses, actually. What is this? I'm just trying to look for the word. But of course, this is a lot of land that is left sparse. That is not attended to. Attended to. Sorry, that is what I meant to say. That is not attended to. And remember, guys, this is Kiambu County in Georgia. Perhaps let me just move slowly. Of course, it depends. Do you have the capital? Do you have the influence? Do you have the land? Do you have the connections? Sadly enough, those are the things that actually matter here in Africa for you to survive. Of course, this is some rental places. This is the particular, this is also a huge piece of land. And also one thing that I'll love to tell us is that in Kiambu County, a lot of land is actually swampy. So if you need to construct a house, you probably need a lot of money. That is in laying the foundation of the house. You probably need a lot of money, because this is just not any piece of land. It is swampy. So you really need some good engineering work to be done there to avoid, of course, your piece of land collapsing. Or rather, to avoid, of course, the house that you are constructing collapsing. And take a look at that. And as we get to move on, as we get to remind us what we are talking about today, we are talking about land being a major factor in Africa, land contributing to poverty in Africa, which is quite an issue. We can all attest to the fact that land is becoming an issue. Let me perhaps just share with you one piece of land also. We talked about land encroachment. That some families, because of lacking any alternative, instead of going to survive in the slums, you gotta do what you gotta do. This is still just the opposite the railways. You can see they have planted some hills around here. I don't know if you can see that particular. Of course, let me just come up closer. They have planted some hills, some maize. This is still government land, so anytime you can be told to evacuate. around. There's some kales around. There's some pawpaws around. On the farther end, I can see some arrowroots being planted, but I don't know if you can see that clearly. You can see some pawpaws also. Do we all agree to the fact that land is an issue in Africa? Still giving you the views. Remember, you are tuning to the Black Hot Fire Network Media for the 21st century, and of course, this is the Calmie African Diary Show. And of course, my apologies because we would have done this on the other side, that is the Prism app, but then again, it is undergoing some maintenance, so we cannot be able to use that particular platform. This is still land that is left. Nothing is done on this land. And right here, we have been battling with the issue of IDPs, that is internally displaced people in Africa. Take a look at what is happening in Ethiopia regarding the Tigray conflict that is happening, the ethnic conflicts in Tigray. People have been displaced, their houses have been burnt. Maybe the piece of land that they did get to acquire has also been taken or rather grabbed by the militias. And it will mean that for this particular person to actually start over fresh, for this particular person, you know, to like live the life that they used to live back then, it is really going to take, let me use the word, it is really going to take a miracle, because nowadays, for you to reclaim back what was yours, it will end up in bloodshed. That is why some people would rather start afresh from the camp. We've had the different African governments, for example, the Kenyan government. It did come about with the initiative whereby, back then in the 80s, in the 90s, land was grabbed. Some people didn't have a title deed. Some land was, that is, some pieces of land were grabbed by the colonialists, some leaders. And we actually did have a committee that was formed by the Kenyan government. And on this particular committee, actually, people would air out their grievances, come about with the proofs regarding the pieces of land. And of course, the government will then again come about with a body that will go on and research on this particular issue. And of course, a verdict was reached. And on most people, they were able to reclaim their land back. That is one particular thing. And also, even in Rwanda, regarding the genocide situation, some people actually did get to lose their piece of land. So in Rwanda, we also did have, it is called actually a tribunal, if I am correct in that particular word. It is called a tribunal, whereby you get to sit, talk about the issue, talk about some of the factors that have affected you, talk about maybe if your land was taken forcibly and you do not have anywhere else to go, then the government will do a research regarding that, or rather it will do some investigation regarding that. And we've come to realize that some families have been able to reclaim their land back. But also this does not get to favor everyone, because some other people have not been able to claim their land back. Remember, today we are out here in the field just talking about the land becoming an issue. Some huge tracts of land have been left there. No construction is ongoing, no farming is ongoing. For example, the last time we were in Tanzania, I remember on our way to Tanzania, things were not that, you imagine that Tanzania is quite productive. Well, it is productive, but let me tell you one thing. Before you get to reach Dar es Salaam, you will get to see hundreds of hundreds of hectares of land left. That is let me use the word arable land. No farming is going on, no construction is going on, no nothing is going on, just huge piece of land left there. And you know, you get to be really a little bit inquisitive, because why would Africa, having the right type of land, the right type of soil, the right type of resources, why would it not venture into farming? For example, I understand that if you have large tracts of land, and you can indulge in things like maybe opening up a ranch. You can get to even try up opening a ranch. You can indulge in a large scale farming, but that was not the situation in Tanzania. And most people were saying that the land was very scarce, and sorry for that slight technical hitch. We are talking about the situation in Tanzania regarding land that a lot of land there has been left. Of course, at first, let's of course proceed and take a look at more in regards to land farming. And of course, this is in Kiambu County in Africa, Kenya, Nairobi. You can see some land has been put into use. That particular region there, you can see some land has been put into use. There is some construction of rental houses, but really need quite a lot of money for you to like venture into that. If you can see on my, okay, it has actually gone. I was talking about the excavators. For you to actually build a house in Juja, you need an excavator, because here it is extremely swampy, and you need millions of money in laying the foundation. That is still what we are talking about. Land. Some land has been put into use. Some land still it is just left there, and the government isn't like doing anything, because we do have the IDPs. These people have lost their homes because of politics. These people have lost their homes, their lands because of politics. But the government isn't doing a lot in ensuring that land reclamation gets to be done. Even though I had talked about, different tribunals being brought about, and people airing out their grievances, and the government finding a verdict, or rather finding a solution for these people, it still doesn't get to benefit everyone at all. We are working around the Kiambu County in Juja. We are taking a look at some of the land that has been left spare, or rather sparse land. No construction is ongoing, as much as it is a developing place. There has been a lot of development, but then again, it is still becoming an issue. Let me still share this. We are almost approaching the highway. I hope you can actually see. Yes, you can. But it is believed that Kiambu County, in the next 10 years, for you to acquire a piece of land, you'll have to use a lot of money. We are talking about for an 1 acre, perhaps you might get an hectare for, let me use this, maybe 1 million, depending where you are buying it from. We are already on the highway. Just a brief history about this particular highway is that it was constructed during former president of Kenya, that is Mwai Kibaki. That is Mwai Kibaki. And it has really contributed a lot in terms of the economy, considering that you're just from the side whereby there has been a lot of land that has not been maybe reclaimed and things like that. Mwai Kibaki has really done a lot in terms of changing Africa, changing Kenya, to be precise. And this particular highway has enabled, of course, it has actually eased the movement of public transport, and of course private transport also at large. Some We're still talking about land. showed you some of that is the bridge, the super highway. Let me call it the super highway that was constructed during Mwai Kibaki's regime. It is a very busy highway. It has isn't a transporter in Nairobi in Kiambu County. And of course, some time back, we get to really focus on the roads. We'll take a look at, we do have, of course, the all-weather roads. Also do have, I also do have, of course, the Maram roads. That is roads that can only be passable during that is seasonal roads. Actually, that is what I'm saying. But of course, stick by. We'll get to venture more in other topics. Remember, today is just out showing out what I'm doing. I'm just taking a stroll around Kiambu County as I go to look for food to feed my tummy. We'll get to take a look at some of the delicacies that I might be enjoying briefly. Of course, thank you so much to everyone who was tuned in. Oof, that is some dust. To everyone who was tuned in to the Blackwood Fire Network. Remember, you can't simply get to log onto our www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com. And once you are logged in, you can proceed and get to enjoy some of the videos, some of the blogs, some of the music right there on Blackwood Fire Network. This is the super highway. The roads are good here. Sometime back, we'll get to tackle that. My name is Calmie. This has been the Calmie African Diary Show. We'll get, of course, to venture more on this and keep it the Black Hot Fire Network, media for the 21st century. So, Nana Badai on another particular segment right here on the Black Hot Fire Network.